every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama Weathercast.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network. We have your morning Alabama forecast and got some cloud cover and a little bit of fog around portions of the state starting off this morning, especially kind of the eastern side of the state, which has been sort of a theme here in the last couple of days. A few showers around there in parts of southeastern Alabama, down towards Dothan, but otherwise most of the state staying dry at this point. Got some more showers off towards the east in Georgia at this point, and that'll be kind of a theme for today as well. Looking at our Skywatcher pictures, John Talbot in Hueytown had a beautiful shot of a rainbow here after a storm passed through. He said he got about 2 inches of rain from that thunderstorm. So a very heavy thunderstorm, but nice little rainbow there at the end. And Michael Waits in Priceville, this is actually looking from Priceville back towards a storm in Holly Pond. So you can see there the top of the thunderhead there, which is always kind of cool how you can see so far in the distance for some of these storms a lot of times during the summer. And we also have Josh Mosley in Jasper sent us this nice, beautiful sunset picture from last night. Some nice pink and orange hues there in the clouds. So just again, we've had plenty of beautiful sunsets in the last several weeks for sure. All right, take a look at our visibility. So we're starting to see the visibilities creep up, but we had some patchy fog in places this morning, but still some places with lower visibility. Greenville's at 4, Selma's at 6. Not so, it's not as much as it was just in the last hour or so. So starting to burn out at this point. But looking across our sky cams, we'll see some of that. Huntsville, it's looking pretty good there atop Monte Sano. Got again some high clouds and some mid-level clouds there with some sunshine starting to peek through there, and a little bit of maybe some low-level clouds and haze there towards the south with temperatures in the lower 70s. Cherokee, you can kind of see there in the distance a little bit of fog still kind of hanging around and starting to burn off here. So again, blue skies though once the fog is out of place or has moved on. But Abbeville still fairly socked in at this point with the temperature and dew point both at 72 degrees. And when you get that kind of situation, that's where you end up seeing fog on these kind of mornings. Point Clear though, looking pretty out there, looking out towards the base, temperatures to 77 degrees. And again, just fairly calm out there with some scattered clouds and blue skies. So what we're watching for this weekend and next week, we're going to be still warm today for sure, and even parts of tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms, again, going to be the theme. And then we're expecting as we get into tomorrow that we're going to have a cold front that's going to pass through, and that'll bring scattered thunderstorms with that, although maybe not as heavy in all spots with those. But then as we get that through here, a beautiful week ahead because we're going to usher in some dry air, just a very dry and unseasonably cool air mass coming in for the end of August, and it's going to be pretty nice out there. And temperatures right now, we're in the mid to upper 70s at 75 degrees in Clanton, at 75 in Selma, Monroeville's at 76. Huntsville is at 77, so mid to upper 70s across most of the state. Again, forecast highs, we'll still expect some places to get in the 90s, although a lot of places will be in the 80s. So getting up to 89 degrees in Monroeville, 91 in Chatham, 91 in Florence, 85 in Anniston. Rain totals over the past 24 hours. A lot of places haven't seen anything, but there were a few that got around an inch of rain or more. Got almost an inch in Troy. Got close to a quarter of an inch in Andalusia. Got a little bit over that in Greenville. Same kind of thing in Atmore. And you can see some of these yellows here too. Some of the reporting sites aren't exactly where these little bullseyes are, but where those bullseyes were, that's where the radar was estimating more than 1 inch, maybe closer to 2 inches of rain. So there was definitely some heavy thunderstorms yesterday afternoon, especially down south. Looking at our Futurecast for this afternoon, heaviest showers and thunderstorms again expected kind of in the southeastern corner there in parts of Henry and Houston counties, Barber counties, Coffee and Dale. Those would be the main places that you expect pretty heavy thunderstorms. A smattering of scattered showers and a couple of rundles of thunder if you go up further towards the north, but more sunshine and probably, and more warmth up in that area of the state than what you would expect for showers and thunderstorms. And then as we get into tomorrow, you can kind of see this linear feature coming in. That's your cold front coming in. Scattered showers and thunderstorms on the south side of that, but as it starts to move in, you may be a few lingering showers on the other side of the front initially before things start to dry out as we get further along. And then as we get into Monday, should totally clear out across the state here. You can see not expecting really any rain as we begin Monday morning. And as that dry air mass moves in, we expect we should be dry for the first few days of next week. One interesting thing, though, for tonight as far as the wind is concerned, so pretty normal winds to start off the morning, but as we get into the evening and in the afternoon, or the afternoon and the evening, you'll see we're actually going to see a little bit of an uptick in the wind, especially in the eastern and northeastern part of the state. Got sort of this little easterly flow wedge boundary that we've seen a good bit here in the last several weeks that will push into the eastern side of the state and make its way across, so that, again, this evening could see some breezy winds from the east as we move across the state. And so it might be a little bit windier than you might expect in an August evening here as this front from the east moves through, this little wedge front, and then as we prepare for that front coming through for tomorrow. All right, we're watching the tropics as we typically do, and this is post-tropical cyclone Aaron, so no longer a tropical system. It's started to become elongated, very large here, and moving off to the northeast, so no longer threatening the U.S., and so glad to get it out of here. Development chance, though, for the next 7 days for the Atlantic. We've got this high chance of development, and this will likely become Tropical Storm Fernand here this weekend. That is the idea at this point. And you can see that's this red area here. The good thing about it, even if it becomes a tropical storm, is expected to stay well off into the Atlantic. Bermuda might have to worry about it a little bit, but at least the U.S. is not going to have to. And then the other area is the invest down here to the south. Just a 20% chance for the next 7 days. So it's moving into an unfavorable shear environment. And so not expecting a lot of development. It should be pretty weak as it moves into the Caribbean, and generally expected to stay far enough south that it will not impact us up here in Alabama, and don't really expect any issues in the Gulf over the next week to 10 days. Temperature anomalies for next week. This is going to be, again, evidence of our cold front moving through, and you can see that we expect to be generally almost entirely below normal as we get through all of next week. And in some cases, it could be 5 to 10 degrees below normal fairly consistently, especially across the northern part of the state. So again, a nice little fall preview here in store. So and you see that in your 7-day forecast. Again, still going to be warm today, upper 80s, and tomorrow as well, with high showers and thunderstorm chances in really all parts of the state, but mostly the south. And then look at, as we get into next week, highs in the low 80s, lows getting down in the upper 50s a couple of nights. And so going to be certainly cooler than normal there in the mornings for sure. And as we get into South Alabama, again, we'll get to those temperatures into the 80s and 90s for the next couple of days before we kind of back down a little bit there and dry out, with the lows getting down into the 60s for South Alabama as well. Well, that is your Alabama forecast, and we'll have more coming up on the Alabama Weather Network.